Let's proceed to 7 ways to manage classroom discipline. No, it's a combination of those researches and papers, also dun sa aking personal experiences na practice with other uh, faculty, no, na na-encounter natin through our practices. No? First is to identify, trace, and measure the erring behavior. A teacher who wants to change that behavior of learners need to specifically describe, know the factors, and weigh the problem behavior manifested by that learner. No? Alamin natin kung saan siya nagmumula. Alamin natin kung grave misconduct ba yung kanyang ginawa. Kasi there are times, future teachers, iba yung ating response dun sa initial behavior ni student or nung beta ni student. Minsan, nagiging OA, no? Or minsan naman, malaki na yung problema pero isinasantabi natin. So with this particular way, no, itong identify, trace, and measure the erring behavior, we can actually calibrate or measure kailan ba natin kailangan sila bigyan ng aksyon. No, kagaya nga ng sabi natin nung discussion ng una, kapag light lang yung erring behavior at hindi naman kailangang mapansin ng ibang kaklase na kinot mo yung attention ni student, you can use a proximity discipline, no? Just walk around or walk around and then lumapit ka banda dun sa student na kailangan maikot sa attention at automatically siya ay magbe-behave, no? Hindi siya napansin ng mga students. Unlike sa lighter naman yung kanyang concern, nagdi-discuss tayo, then na-caught natin attention, tinawag natin or pinagsabihan natin, eh sa halip na si student lang yung makorek or mabago, no? Or ma-distract, ay buong klase, no? So with this slide, no, we can actually trace kailan ba natin bibigyan ng mas malaking aksyon yung common behavior na na-encounter natin sa pagtuturo, no? So kapag getting our attention, no? Siyempre tayo subject teacher, we should control. There are times we will encounter students na they're happy to get our attentions, no? There are times while discussing, they will be asking questions, interrupt our discussion, doing something sa upuan niya para ma-catch yung attentions natin. No? Merong ganun. No? Even I encounter one sa senior high that time na sa buong week, kapag hindi ko napansin yung isang student na yon, mga Friday, gagawa na yan ng something na erring behavior para mapagsabihan siya. Even her mother has background in psychology, eh, alam niya rin yon, no? Sir, alam ko rin na ganun siya pagka hindi napapansin sa bahay, ganun din siya. Gagawa siya ng something na makokot yung attention niya. And there are times, meron tayong mga students na ma-encounter na ganun. So, we need to address, no? As a subject teacher. When they are disturbing others, at na-encounter natin siya for first case, we can caught their attentions or address their attentions. Pero pag siya ay naging repetitive action na, we can actually discuss that concern with the class advisor. Ang purpose nito is to collate yung concerns ng mga subject teachers. And when the class advisor noticed na hindi lang sa subject area mo siya ganoon, no? Maaaring makadevelop si advisor ng focus kung bakit merong gano'ng erring behavior si students, no? Maaaring may iba siyang pinagdadaanan and through that, eh, mas maalay natin na hindi na pala siya basta-basta na concern, no? Pagdating sa no assessment, we can remind our student as subject teacher. Pero pag umuulit-ulit na yung hindi na siya nakakapagsabit assessment, wala siyang quiz, o kaya ay nalilate siya ng projects or performance tasks, o kaya naman ay lumiliban halimbawa, no? Bukod sa control natin, we need to discuss that concern with advisor, no? At kapag affected na at kita na natin na dumadami na yung scores na bumababa or wala compared sa performance niya nung una, no? or sa mga records niya, we can actually open this, allow the class advisor to reach the counselor, no? So yun yung protocols class. We cannot directly go to counselor without knowing the advisor yung concern kasi bypass yun, no? So we can discuss it with the class advisor since si counselor ay when it comes to guidance is under niya or handle niya si class advisor. That's the call where when class advisor will open or discuss that concern with the counselor. Of course, sa pag-discuss ni advisor, be ready kasi kasama ka doon. No? You need to testify and give your or provide your details kung bakit ganun yung premise. At kapag napansin natin na once na siya nadala na kay counselor and we notice that even the interventions of subject teacher tayo at ang class advisor ay hindi umaakma sa kailangang address na ibigay kay students, that's the time that we need to inform the principal that we are planning to meet their parents. Sa experience ko bilang teacher sa private and public school sa K to 12, no? Ito ay isa sa malaking usapin. Kapag bumababa class ang grades ng ating students sa K to 12, we need to inform ahead of time yung ating parents. Lalo na kapag quarterly matataas ang assessment, no, quarterly grades or quarterly exam score, tsaka performance task kasi siya ay 45 to 50, 60%, no? Kailangan na nating inform yung parents. There are times class na kapag nag-reflect na yung grade sa card, biniblame ng parents ang teachers bakit hindi sila in-inform. So wala tayo may excuse tayo doon. Pero on our part, we need to, it's a call in our profession to discuss that concern with the parents. Sa akin, there are times sa exclusive school or private school, bago dumating yung bigay ng card at nakolekta ko na yung grades ng mga subject teachers, a day or 2 days before PTC or bigay ng card, parents-teachers conference, tinatawag ko na ilang mga parents na alanganin yung mga grades ng kanilang mga anak, no? So, in advance, inform na sila. At binibigyan natin advice saan siya may mahinang scores, sa quiz ba, sa project, and then, at least pag nagbigay ng card, alam na nila, no? Kesa dun sa PTC muna natin sila i-reveal na may mga ganong bababang grade. So tandaan nyo in class, no, mahalaga yan sa ating practice, no, or sa practices. Kapag naging violent or involved sila sa pinagbabawal na batas, no, even substance, no, hindi lamang siya control ng school community, no? Lumalabas siya sa ating premises kasi may existing law na though tayo ay nasa school premise, ay mas makakatulong sila sa concern na yon dahil ito ay malalang kaso, no? Inform ang parents, no, lalo na kung violent siya, tell them na saan nagmumula ito, ipaalam sa kanila, and if psychological screening be needed or required, there are times class we can require somehow the parents to provide us the copy from a psychologist or psychiatrist na they are now okay to go back to school, no? May mga ganun, no? Kapag sobra ng violent yung student at lagi na lang nagiging dahilan ng gulo sa klase or siya ay bully, no, sa klase, may substance abuse, no, or may addictions, mas maganda na bago siya bumalik sa mainstream, no, mayroong mabigay sa atin na ganoon, no. Mahirap siya pero for the sake ng safety ng buong population ay kailangan natin siyang gawin, no. Sa traces naman, we can help our learners kung saan nanggagaling yung kanilang problema. Kung sila yung may erring behavior, we can trace it through biopsychosocial model, no? When it comes to biological, baka sila ay mayroong impairment, may genetically conditions or inherited traits, may personal or physical defects, no, na maaaring sila yung pinagkakatuwaan or para matago yung kanilang biological weakness or trait na meron sila ay yung iba yung kanilang binubuli or ginagawan. When it comes to psychological, maaaring sabihin natin na may incapacitated or may cognitive, emotional problem sila or may disorder kung bakit sila ay nagiging involved sa airing beta or sila ay naging biktima, no? When it comes to social, maaaring sila na being labeled, maaaring sila discriminated. So we can trace, no, through tracing, okay, sa biological siya may problema. Now, what I will going to do as class advisor, halimbawa ay nag-CRC student, siya yung concerned or absent, no, we can meet actually the whole class and make a covenant na this is the problem of our class. We need to reach out to student, no, and then pag dumating na yung regular classes na nandun na ulit si student, iba na yung binibuild nating community. No? It's a caring community sa loob ng classroom. Sa measurement, no, we can try to measure the erring behavior sa 3 levels. No? Minor, moderate, and major disruptive behaviors. Kapag minor, okay, maingay lang, maaaring siya ay nagdi-distract, no, ng kaklase, no? May minimal absences, may poor performance, no? Inappropriate language. That's the time we can address the concern as advisor or subject teacher. Pero kapag meron na tayong napapansin na nagbabago siya ng behavior from maingay naging tahimik, from tahimik naging maingay, nakakaapekto na ng class decorum, even yung hygiene ay affected na rin, multiple no assessments and absences. That's the time that we need to raise the concerns with the counselors, principal, and with the parents, no? Hindi na beyond our control na yon, no? At mas lumalaki na yung problema. At kapag major na, no, na involved na dito yung somehow crime, no, or hindi na sumasang-ayon sa batas, no, yung bullying, physical fights, harm, threats, throwing objects, weapons, substance abuse, no, or nagdadala ng illegal substance sa loob, destroying properties, yan, kailangan na siya i-turn over sa higher authorities, no? Kasi lalo na kung physical fights, bullying, may involved na estudyanteng na dehado. Meron ng demand tayo na action coming from the parents who manifest erring behavior at meron din tayong responsibilidad to defend yung students na naagrabyado, no? So to properly align that problem, no, at to compensate yung demand ng parents class kahit hindi pa sabihin ng parents na naagrabyado na they are demanding justice dun sa nangyari, no? Automatic, it's our call to be fair, no? Kaya para hindi tayo maging bias sa magulang na may erring behavior at dun sa naagrabyadong students, we need to turn over this with the